In this video, I'm going to talk about an album by the band Slayer, which is actually the first time I'm doing an entire dedicated video for an album of this band. And the album in question is South of Heaven, their fourth studio album. It was released on July 5th, 1988. It is celebrating its 35th anniversary. It was produced by Slayer and Rick Rubin, released on the Def Jam record label. Their second album released on this label. This is the follow-up to Rain in Blood, which came out in 1986. There was a little bit of controversy surrounding this album because the previous album, Rain in Blood, was considered to be one of the heaviest and fastest thrash metal albums. At least at that time it was. But on this album, they decided to change their sound. They slowed down the pace on most of the songs. They experimented a little with their style. It was a risk they took. I guess the band could have created a Rain in Blood Part 2, but they decided not to do that. So that's going to be the focus of this video. And before I go any further, let me mention who was in the band at this time. And on the screen, I'm going to show the back cover of the album. So we have Tom Araya on bass and vocals, Kerry King on guitars, Jeff Hanneman on guitars, and Dave Lombardo on drums. So you may be wondering what was the reason they changed their style. So according to Jeff Hanneman, he said the band discussed the style of music before they started writing. He said it was the first time the band actually did that, and they came to a consensus. They thought they couldn't top Rain in Blood, so anything they would just do would just be compared to that album. So for that reason, they decided to slow it down. So according to Kerry King, the band felt that they needed to keep people guessing, which is, I would assume, like a way to keep people interested in the band, and something to contrast the aggressiveness and speed of Raining Blood by slowing down the tempo, adding distorted guitars, and kind of toning down the vocals. When the album was released, it was fairly successful. It peaked at number 57 on the Billboard 200 album chart. It was the second album to be certified gold in the United States. This was the last Slayer album released on Def Jam Records. The next album would be released on Rick Rubin's new label called Def American Recordings. That was after Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons split up. So the critics have mixed reviews for the album. For example, Rolling Stone magazine gave it 1 star out of 5. So according to Kim Neely of Rolling Stone, she wrote that it was genuinely offensive satanic drivel. But the magazine would later change their opinion when they ranked it 47 on their 2017 100 Greatest Metal Albums of All Time list. But that album would also be praised by others. For example, Carl Willits of Bolt Thrower says the album is in his top 5 of all time. And according to Tom Araya, the album was a late bloomer. It wasn't really received well, but it kind of grew on everybody later. Let's talk about the songs now. The opening track is the title track, South of Heaven. This was the first single released off the album. The song was played live often. Has very iconic guitar riff. It's slow, it's haunting, it's evil. It's a sound that builds up as it goes along. It's one of the songs where you can hear the slower tempo and the cleaner vocals. The song that starts to pick up as it moves along. Tom Araya delivers his traditional screaming vocals towards the end of the song as well. Then there's Silent Scream. So according to Max Kolsny of the Brazilian death metal group Christian, he remembered hearing the song for the first time, and he said, and I quote, "It just blew me away. It was like fast double bass, fast kicks during the whole song. That was very inspiring for me." So this was more of a traditional thrash metal song. It has fast-paced drumming, some heavier vocals. The song also has some awesome guitar solos. The song is about abortion. It's based on a 1984 anti-abortion educational film directed by Jack Duane Dabner, and this depicts the abortion process via ultrasound, and it shows an abortion taking place in a uterus. And while the abortion is taking place, they describe the fetus as it suffers pain and discomfort. So that's what the song is all about. So then there's Live Undead. This is a song with the same name as their live album. It's a really good song. It has many different layers. It has the slow riff to begin with, followed by the faster-paced guitar riffs, descriptive lyrics. The song is just filled with blazing guitar solos, and it's a melodic song. Tom Araya lets out his brutal screams. song's lyrics are open to interpretation, but it seems to be about someone being buried alive. Then Behind the Crooked Cross was a song that was not played live very often because Jeff Hanneman didn't really like it that much. Now, I don't know why he didn't. It has lots of chugging, has some great riffs. Now, the Crooked Cross in the title refers to the swastika symbol of Nazi Germany, and the lyrics about Nazi soldiers who realized that they might be fighting for the wrong cause, but they were actually like brainwashed to believe it was right. Now, some people thought that the band were Nazis because of the song, and also they had that song Angel of Death, but this song and the band is actually like against the Nazism. Then one of my favorites, Mandatory Suicide. This is a song they almost always played in all their live shows. The song has also been covered by many bands, and it's one of my favorites from the album. It has one of the best guitar riffs in the intro. The second guitar riff reminded me of like For Whom the Bell Tolls, like that type of sound. And one of the best war songs, I think it's like their equivalent of Metallica's Disposable Heroes. And the spoken part at the end is really good. Then there's Ghosts of War, another song that the band did not like very much. To me, it sounds like more of a typical Slayer song. It's one of the faster paced and thrashy songs. It's a good song. Not my favorite, but I think if you're a fan of their like older stuff or their faster style, you'll get into it. The second half of the song is a little slower, and there's lots of killer solos along the way. Read Between the Lies is a song that deals with evangelists, and they would always ask for money on television. That was a common theme with metal bands like Metallica, Suicidal Tendencies, and Metal Church, amongst others. It's a good song. The song has some killer riffs and some great drumming by Dave Lombardo. Cleanse the Soul is another song that Kerry King hates. He says the opening riff is just like this happy riff. It was not the type of song the band usually writes. I thought it's good. I think it's not one of the most memorable, but it's a good song. Then Dissident Aggressor is a cover song. Their first cover song, originally by Judas Priest from the Sin After Sin album from 1977. And that's a song that helped define heavy metal with fast rhythms and the double bass drums. I've always liked this song. I actually didn't know it was a Judas Priest cover back when I bought the CD when it came out, but I think it's a great cover. They were able to keep that late 70s metal sound, and they kind of gave it that updated sound. And this song was actually released like 11 years after the original, so it wasn't really that old of a song when it was recorded. And the final song, Spill the Blood, a really great song, has the haunting arpeggiated guitar chords in the intro and the slow distorted guitar riff. And the drumming is just what really makes the song great. It's a very evil sounding song and a great album closer. When it comes to the band Slayer, I mostly listen to the first 5 albums. I think South of Heaven would be in my top 3, along with Seasons in the Abyss and Hell Awaits. I like Rain and Blood. I don't think it's the greatest album ever made, like some people claim. Their debut album is also very good, but let me know what you think of this album. Where would you rank it in their discography? That is all. Please like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. Please comment, and please subscribe. Check out this video right here, and I will see you in the next one.